everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fire Up. I hope everybody's
Woo!
as fired up as I am, or maybe more than I am, but I'm a little
Let's
tired.
get fired up.
Let's get fired up. How's your week going, Mr. Jeremy?
Could be better, could be worse. If I complain, no one wants to hear it anyways.
that is, I don't know that we don't want to hear it, but like there's not a lot we can do about it, right?
They're right. I mean, there's complaining when life is bad. It brings everybody else down around you. And that's why I say what I say every at the end of every show. Is
hmm
because if we all try to ignore the complaints and just keep moving forward, the world would be a better place.
I agree. I agree. I tell a lot of my employees when they start complaining, I'm like, I stopped complaining a long time ago because I realized that you never know who you're talking to because the person that you're talking to might have it worse off than you do. There's a lot of people that have, a lot of things could be worse off. So I stopped complaining to people. At least I tried to a while back. And what is it going to get you? It's not going to get you anything. The only thing it does is let you maybe vent a little bit. But other than that, yeah. Well, first 2 weeks of the NFL season are in the books. So my question to you is there are 10 NFL teams that are 0-2 right now.
Oh, and
Which
two,
0-2? Yes. What team do you think will win first?
I honestly don't know. I want to say the Giants are close and they have a chance being at home to upset the Cowboys, who has looked good offensively, but look, their passing game's not as good on defensively. And Malik Neighbors is one of the elite young wide receivers as the as a number one wide receiver, which makes Darius Slayton and company much better around him.
So the Giants played Dallas this past weekend.
Hmm.
So they played Kansas City Sunday night. At
Oh, so somebody's winning. So whoever wins that game is not going to be 0-3. How's that?
That's true. That's true. So, of the 10 teams that are 0-2 right now, it's the Giants, it's the Bears, Carolina Panthers, New
Who did the
Orleans
Bears play?
Saints. I'm sorry?
Who did the Bears play? Don't they play the Browns?
No, the Bears play the Cowboys.
Until I can't pick the Bears until they learn how to finish. They can't finish. They do great through the scripted plays where if that lasts to the half, it looks good and then it starts to fall apart.
Mhm.
Caleb does not know the playbook well enough to be able to read it off that wrist strap. He needs Ben Johnson to take his hand and go, "Okay, little boy, this is how it's done."
Yes. Carolina Panthers are 0-2. Now they play Atlanta Falcons this week, and the Saints play Seattle. I don't know that either of those two teams are going to find a win in that column this week. Atlanta's been doing pretty good. Penix Jr., I mean, he's been playing better. And Seattle's playing better than um now the AFC, the a couple of teams that are 0-2. We have the Jets. Now they're going to be playing without Fields. He's ruled out against Tampa Bay with a concussion. The Dolphins, who are playing tonight against Buffalo, granted they're tied at halftime, which is a little bit of a shock, but I don't see them coming out of that one. Cleveland is 0-2. They go against my Green Bay Packers, though, this weekend. I really don't see them beating the Packers. I mean, they play the game, let's face it, but I really don't. Then we have the Texans, the Titans, and we already talked about the Chiefs because we said the Chiefs are playing another 0-2 team. So the Texans are playing the Jaguars, and the Titans are playing Indy. What do we think about any of those games? Do we think any of them are going to get a win?
Well, we know either the Chiefs or Giants are winning, no matter how bad they're playing.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
If you look at it offensively, the Giants look a little better than the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs have looked a little. I mean, they were missing their couple of their wide receivers. Worthy's out, and who's the other
Right.
one? So, and that makes a big difference when you're
And they're
missing.
and they're still out this week.
Mhm.
So that's why I might be leaning towards the Giants to win that game because it's in
Wow.
New York. The
Wow.
Swifties heads are going to explode.
I know. Yeah, because as it is, Patrick's never gone 0-3 in consecutive games, and he already did that. So I mean, to go 0-4 would be unheard of, I
Amazing.
think.
Amazing. I'm sorry, it'd be amazing.
So we're not a Chiefs fan. Okay.
I'm not a Patrick Mahomes fan.
Okay. Okay. That's I can understand. I mean, not everybody can be. So, of the games that are slated for this weekend, what games are you most looking forward to on the NFL side?
On the NFL side, well, you can't look any further than Monday Night Football, a clash of contenders. You, despite they're both 1-1, somebody's coming out of it 2-1. If it goes by the way the prognosticators are talking, the Ravens will win 34-31. If it goes the way us Lions fans and the way I think it'll go, Lions win 45-31.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that should be a very interesting game. I mean, the Ravens just I mean, Derrick Henry's been playing lights out. You guys need to make sure you're stopping him. Um but let's see. Any You guys are ranked total
It,
yards fifth, they're 11th. Passing yards, you guys are ranked fifth, they're ranked 23rd. Yeah, you guys are pretty evenly. I mean, it's not, well, the defense, total yards, you guys are much better on defense than they are. So their
and,
defense is
and,
pretty bad.
and I predicted us last night on my NFL roundtable talk because I told you I do the pick'ems all NFL season, and I must not be too bad. I'm 20-13 through 2 weeks. So um, I think I think we got a good shot of winning.
Okay. I'd say I would say yes. I would say as long as it's the team that played against the Bears and not the team that played against the Packers.
Yes, and I think that you're going to see that continuance because
I
the O line is gelling together. It's less about who's on that team and more about how the changes and how they're gelling for me.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. We've talked a lot about how in the preseason a lot of players get a lot of I mean, not a lot of time, but because you're rotating so many, you're looking for who's going to make your 53 million roster, and so you're putting people together that aren't normally together. That I think that there's a cohesiveness that needs to start to work on and all the NFL teams. So I think the first couple of games, depending on how much your team played in the preseason together, very much um, has an influence in how they've played in the beginning. And so I think you're right. Like they need the offensive line needs, how are they going to block? How are they, pass protect? And even the routes, like the timing of the routes, because I don't care what any NFL coach says. Doing a joint practice is not the same as game. And so, um, yeah, you need that was always one of the biggest things that we said in Green Bay when we had Aaron Rodgers is that he never played the preseason. So he never had a chance to have the timing down with his receivers and stuff like that. And sometimes you're seeing some of that from the week one, week two. By week three, we should be working out those kinks.
Right.
So, what other game are you looking forward to this weekend on the NFL slate? any other game catch
Well,
your
let
eye?
me go look at my trusty schedule for pick'ems that I got here. Really wasn't that interested in tonight, but it's starting to look interesting. So I'm waiting for it to open. There it is. Okay. Bengals versus Minnesota, the backup quarterback bowl. That seems interesting because who's going to win, Carson Wentz or Jake Browning? Um, the other one is Denver at Chargers. Denver
That's what I
really
was going to
hasn't
say.
played to their potential,
Mm-hmm.
and the Chargers, they might be overachieving right now because they seem to not have the problem with the O line everybody projected they would after losing Slater for the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. I think those are going to be even the Texans versus Jaguars. That might be an interesting game. It's at the Jags, so I mean, there's some really one-sided games I think going on. I mean, Raiders versus Commanders, that could be interesting. But yeah, um anybody in fantasy that you would recommend anybody taking? Any
If he's available, I wouldn't mind if somebody grabbed Jake Browning because of Joe Burrow being hurt, because of the weapons around him. I think he could still be successful as a quarterback. He may not get you 30 fantasy points, but if you need somebody to fill in and get you 15 to 20, I think he's that type of quarterback. Because if you've got a solid roster around him, you'll get what you want.
I mean, let's face it, how many of the starting quarterbacks are out this week?
3 or 4, isn't it? 4.
It's I think
Jaden
it's more
Daniels, Joe Burrow, J.J. McCarthy,
Justin Fields.
and Justin Fields. I know that for a fact.
I think
There's
there's
a
like
chance
5
there
of
might
them.
there might be 8, but I know those 4 already because I know the backups that are playing.
Purdy has a chance to play, they're saying.
Right,
He might be out.
He's been limited in practice, so you may not get to see the mac and cheese show.
Right. Who else? Because I mean, it was crazy when I was looking at it. There was like 5 or 6. Um,
I'm wondering how many more games good old
um, let's see. Yeah, Daniels is out. Burrows, Fields is out. Um, let's see. Let's see who else. Oh, the Bengals, yeah, Burrow. Who? Quite a few. I mean, it's just considering it's only week 2, like for them to be already that many out kind of surprised me. But you never know. So, what about college football there, Mr. Jeremy? Any
well,
games this weekend you're looking forward to, or
anytime Michigan's playing, I'm looking forward to it.
so who do they play this weekend?
Oh, let's see. Let me go through the list that I got just pulled up.
Let's see.
Well, we know here's one that I didn't care about, but it's going on live right now. Is Rice at Charlotte, and Rice is winning 21-9. Army
Michigan,
plays North Texas.
Michigan plays Nebraska
Yeah, that's going to be a rough game.
at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Well, Wisconsin plays at home against Maryland. Every game I think is tough for Wisconsin at this point, especially with their number one quarterback is out. This is the second year in a row that's happened on the first game of the season. I mean, he is questionable at this point with his knee, but uh, it's the first game of the Big Ten for the Badgers. They were very much embarrassed last week against Alabama. I really think Luke Fickell is this season will be his make or break season. I think depending on how they end up will determine how if they keep him. I mean, I know there have been some fans already saying that they should let him go and move on from him, and I think it's sparking more controversy because there were so many people that wanted Jim Leonard hired instead of Luke Fickell, and it'll be interesting. They said I think if they buy him out now, it's a $25 million buyout,
right,
for him, which is a little bit steep, I would say. I will be covering the Florida versus Miami game, which should be interesting. Another one of the Florida in-state rivals. Florida has not looked good lately, though, so it will be interesting to see. That one will be live on ABC on Saturday night, though. What other college games besides Michigan?
Michigan. I'm interested. Let's see if they're playing first. Is Texas playing this weekend?
Texas Tech is playing Utah. That's a 17 versus a 16, so that should be a good game. Let me
But I meant
see.
like Texas, the University of Texas.
Yeah, no, I know. They weren't up on the top, so either they don't play or they're.
I know one your hubby will be interested in seeing, and that's South Carolina State versus the South Florida Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland
Texas
versus
plays
Wisconsin.
Sam Houston. So.
Yeah, they'll win. They should win.
Yeah.
Man, Arch Manning has been awful.
Yeah. Indiana plays Illinois. That's a number 9 versus the 19 seed. So that could be, and they're playing at Indiana. So that could be a good game.
And in the GLIAC, which has some of the schools that been getting people drafted lately, Saginaw Valley State Cardinals are actually playing the New Haven Chargers.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, North Carolina plays UCF. That's interesting.
And the Beavers versus the Ducks, Oregon State versus Oregon. Say what you want. That's a rivalry game, an in-state rivalry game. It's almost like Michigan and Michigan State. The game is always better than what the rankings say.
Yep.
Grand Blanc versus Traverse City West in high school this weekend. Little Michigan high school action. MHSAA, Michigan High School Athletic Association. There we go.
There you go. Patty is saying.
Yeah, Graham, that's where I got it from.
Yep. Okay. What's happening to your Tigers, Jeremy?
They're struggling. People being hurt and not in the lineup. When Reese Olson went down, it totally changed our starting rotation. Now Skubel's the only one that can do anything, but pulling him in the 7th inning, the way he was pitching, they got to him a little bit the third time through the order, but they didn't do any damage. We were leading the game, and I think that was the biggest mistake I saw. It the first time I actually questioned Hinch.
Do you think they did that because last time when he was down here in Miami, he had soreness in his left side, and so they pulled him really early, and so do you think they were like being cautious?
It could be, but it still it bothers me because it didn't look like it was hindering him, and his stuff was electric as always. His last strikeout in that inning when they pulled him, he hit 102 miles per hour. I don't think the left side's bothering him.
Yeah. It was disappointing when we were there Friday night, last Friday night at the Marlins game because Scooble was pitching against Sandy Alcantara, and I was really looking forward to that pitching matchup. And for him to go out in the third was like, just too short of a. I get
And he
it, I
was
understand it, but
and he was dealing, and he was dealing. You know, he had
Mhm.
what 3 strikeouts through the first 2 innings.
I
He
think
got
so.
another one, and he just got another one before the tightness happened. So he was on his 4th strikeout already.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
when you've only faced 7 batters and you struck out 4 of them, you're pretty darn good.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he's a shoe in for the Cy Young this year, and I don't think it's close. I think Paul Skeens is the closest,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not. If you look at his numbers, they don't compare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was it was amazing to watch him like warm up and just the command he has, the pace, the velocity he has, even warming up. Like it was just boom, boom. I mean, that was great. That was great. Patty says they're playing right across the street.
Yeah, Patty's up in Traverse City right
Uh huh. Okay. Okay.
He's a good guy. That's not his real name. That's just his YouTube persona.
I get it. I get it. Um, let's go to so we talked a little bit about your Tigers. Let's go to the MLB and see what we got. So
The
right
Brewers are
as
not
of,
the best in baseball anymore. What happened?
huh?
The Brewers fell off a little bit, didn't they, lately?
Um
They're still in first place, but they're
they're
not.
in first place. Um they had a series where they didn't do well and now they're back. They the last couple of days they did better. They've clinched obviously the playoffs. The magic number for them is before tonight is 6. So however they do it, because the Cubs are also clinch playoffs too, but to clinch the division, the number is 6 at this point. Their record is 93-59, and the Cubs is 88-65. So the Brewers clinched playoffs. The Phillies have clinched playoffs. The Cubs have clinched playoffs, and that's on the National League side. There isn't anybody that has clinched playoffs so far on the American League side yet.
Because there's so many bunched together. Um,
Correct.
One thing I can say is the Tigers still have a 3.5 game lead, and they have 9 games left. The Guardians have 10 games left, with 4 more versus Detroit.
Yeah. And that's not necessarily a good thing because you guys
You
lost
know,
3 to them.
the Guardians have had our number, but what I'm saying is that within those 9 games, if the Tigers win 4, that means the Guardians have to win 8 to tie, and then they would get the Central. So there's a good chance that they'll win 4 of those games because guess what? One of the teams they have to play in the middle of that a 3 game set with the Atlanta Braves, who are playing better right now, but
Mm-hmm.
overall are nowhere near the class of team.
Right. Right. If the playoffs started today, the teams that would be in on the National League side, Brewers, Phillies, Dodgers, Cubs, Padres, and Mets. On the American League side, the Blue Jays, the Tigers, the Astros, the Yankees, the Mariners, and the Red Sox.
And the Guardians would not be there.
They would not be there. Nope.
If,
If we stop today, yes.
yeah, if it stopped today, but unfortunately, there's like 12 more days to the
There
season.
is. There is. Let's see. And the Brewers are playing the Angels right now. This last of this series. So they won the first 2. the Brewers play 3 against the Cardinals, 3 against the Padres, and then 3 against the Reds. That's who the Brewers have. Now, let's see. Your Tigers, they're playing, or they played against the Guardians today. That's over with. They play 3 Braves, 3 Guardians, and 3 against the Red Sox. That's not necessarily an easy, because the Red Sox and Guardians are both trying to either get in or stay in. So those
Right.
could be tough games.
So in the game tonight that's going on in the NFL, Tua Tagovailoa is 13 of 21 for 63 yards right now. The Bills are up 21-14 now. Josh Allen is 17 of 19 for 153 yards and 2 tutties. James
Wow.
Cook has had 11 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown.
Wow. Those are some big numbers, Josh.
17 and 19 is pretty good.
I would say, yeah, with 153 yards and 2 touchdowns, I mean, that is, yeah, that's,
There's only one set of numbers that I remember from last year that was any better than that. And wasn't that versus the Seahawks last year when Jared Goff went 18 of 18 for 323 yards and 3 touchdowns?
that sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I wrote about Mr. Perfect that day because his nickname on Wikipedia changed to Mr. Perfect that night.
Oh, that's funny.
I think it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. That is okay. So that game's going on. What else? I mean, we don't normally talk a lot about it, but the WNBA is winding down and in playoffs now, and
Yay.
the Indiana Fever beat the Atlanta Dream today 87-85. So that was a really
A
close.
barn burner.
Yep.
Indiana Fever tends to go a little bit towards bad boys basketball in that second half. They clamp down, they don't let anything inside, and it makes it harder for some of those shorter women to be able to play because they do have decent bigs.
So it means that the Fever won the series because it's a 3-game series. So they won 2-1. Right now, the Storm are playing the Aces. The series is tied 1-1, and the score is tied 21-21. So that is as
That's
close
second quarter, right?
It is the second quarter, yes. So that's about as tight as you can get. I mean, as close as you can get. Let's see. So tomorrow night, Iowa does play Rutgers, and Tulsa plays Oklahoma State. As far as football goes, Saturday we kind of went over which ones we think are going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you want to talk about, Jeremy? What's on your mind?
You know, it's time for us to stop being awful as a society. It's time to let go of the petty differences. There's only one race, and that's the human race. Because if you go by genus and species, it's Homo sapiens. There's no asterisk saying European, American, African, Indian, Chinese, Japanese. There's none of that. It just says Homo sapiens. Everything else is just a skin pigmentation. So stop looking through blind eyes. Open your eyes. See what's actually going around you, and learn how to love again. I want that. I want the whole world to be like we were in 2001 after 9/11 again.
September 12th. Yep.
That whole day, that whole week, that whole month, people hugged each other on the street,
Mm-hmm.
shook hands, waved at each other driving by, nodded, saluted soldiers as they were walking.
Raise the American flag. We're proud to, show the American flag. I get you. I'm with you.
And I miss that America. I was 31 at the time. It, I miss that America. I miss where you could say your opinion and be as stupid as you wanted to be. And if it's funny, people laugh. If it was bad, they would say, "Oh, that's bad, but it's yours."
I miss people having respect for each other. Whether I don't care what religion you are, what political belief you are, I respect you because like you said, you're an American. Like, you have a right to your opinion. I have a right to mine.
And nobody's ever going to agree on everything.
No.
But there's two things you don't talk about in a bar at all. You know what they are? Politics or religion. Why? They always end in argument.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And one of the things that dinged you earlier was my preview article for the game this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
That's a big game.
yeah. Yeah, I do miss September 12th from back. Um, for more than for multiple reasons. Um, yeah, at that point I still had both my parents. Now I think of what I've gone through that since then, but yes. Um, Jeremy, what's happening in your town?
People are freaking out because they think the Lions are falling apart. They think the Tigers are falling apart, and they're afraid nothing is going to be done about it. And all they can say is from one week to the next, the same thing I say every week: breathe, let it happen. If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. And
Right.
we're at that point now that the Lions have to win the division. I mean, the Tigers have to win the division to get into the playoffs. All we got to do is win 4 out of 9, and 3 of them are versus Atlanta. We got the
Mm-hmm.
Boston Red Sox and the Guardians flashed in there. So I think if we take one from each of them,
Mm-hmm.
they still have to win 7 of their next 10 games to tie us to take the division. And I think that gives us pretty good odds if we win 3 or more. And I think we can because Skubal pitches twice in them 10 games. So all
Mm-hmm.
we need is either the bullpen day while the one guy is out. They're trying to save him from coming back because they want to be able to bring him back the last day just so he's on the roster so he can be there for the playoffs. Which is Reese Olson. He's the one that's been rehabbing, and he's close, but he's not ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him get one start before the playoffs before they just throw him in there and have him re-injure himself. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Tigers. Let's go Lions. Let's feast on some birds. We haven't beat them in Baltimore since 2005. It's been 20 years. It's time. Time for some streaks to end.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. The streak I want to see end. I'd love the Brewers to make it to the World Series again. Like, they've been playing lights out.
Was that 81 the last time they made it?
82.
80, I knew it was one of them because Robin Yount was a part of that team. Raleigh Fingers. You guys had some characters back then. It was a
CC
different.
Sabathia, Paul Molitor, Gumby. Yep. Ted Simmons, Charlie Moore, Cecil
Wow,
Cooper, Ben Ogilvy. Yeah.
we're talking about a young thin CC Sabathia too. We're not talking about Pork Boy that looked like he sat too long at an all-you-can-eat cheeseburger. But
Right. We went in on the trade deadline all in, got him for the rest of that year. And he pitched lights out. Like, he pitched on without rest consecutive days in a row back then. And um
and Raleigh Fingers was one of the best closers in baseball at the time.
yep. Yep.
I remember Raleigh Fingers because of the big handlebar mustache. He looked like Dudley Do Right.
Yes. Yes.
Or Dan Dastardly, I should say. Dudley Do Right was the blonde-haired mountain.
Yes. Yeah, but I would love to see a good run here. I mean, it would be it would be bittersweet knowing that Bob Uecker wanted that so bad, and the fact that he passed away in January. But that I think he'd be watching down from heaven and just loving every minute of it. And so we'll see. I mean, they haven't done real well in the playoffs, so hopefully they can get over that hump. They did lose one of their pitchers to injury, so Quintana. So we'll see how that plays out, because it's never a good time to lose a pitcher. We did get big baseball news today, though, and I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention it. Clayton Kershaw has decided that this is his last season. He's going to hang up the cleats after 18 years of playing in the big leagues. At least it's his last season playing. That doesn't mean necessarily that he's not going to be around baseball, but he's had a fabulous career. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, if that's for sure. It'll be definitely different without him around, but the one thing I thought was really weird is we only have how many games left. There has not been a no-hitter thrown this year.
We had a couple of close calls, but nobody got it.
Mm-hmm.
They've all been broken up. I think somewhere between the 7th and 8th innings. They haven't ever got to the 9th.
Yeah. So that's kind of... Oh, Skubal did, and I didn't know this. Skubal records the 229th strikeout for a new single-season career high. Well, that's good for him. Let's see what else is happening in my town. Obviously, the Packers are playing. Jordan Reed did have surgery today for his clavicle and his foot. I'm not even to say when we think he's gonna be back, because I've heard mixed news reports that like that foot injury is gonna take way longer to heal, and then I've heard some that saying it's the same timeline as the clavicle. So I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just gonna report that he had the surgery today. It was supposed to be successful. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how we match up. Although I mean, let's face it, any given NFL team can beat any NFL given team on any time. But I would hope the Packers would be okay. I know they had a slight scare today that they thought Tucker Kraft sustained a knee injury during the practice. But they're saying it was just a little scare and all is good. So
good. I need him on my fantasy team.
Hey, more power to you. But yeah,
I had to push Jaden Reed into the IR. He's into the no man's land of fantasy league.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're saying they're saying Reed, who also underwent foot surgery, is expected to be put on injured reserve, but could return late in the season. Throwing the fact that we've been without Christian Watson, who is on the physically unable to perform list while he continues to recover from ACL injury. That means Jordan Love could be missing 2, possibly 3 of his top targets. So that could play into the game. So we'll just see. Other than that, I don't think there's much else happening in my town at this point. I mean, I can tell you that hockey, I believe that they opened training camp. I think their first practice is tomorrow, I believe I heard. So anybody and Ovechkin has not decided if this is going to be his last season. I read that too.
He plays one more year. He's officially going to make that goal scored record so high no one will ever touch it.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless they add 20 games a season again.
Correct. Okay, well, I think it's time to promote. I think it's time for me to promote. My husband wrote a book.
No.
He wrote a book. Lessons from the Microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. He wrote this book. It talks about media and how media has changed over his 40 plus years. It's great, some great stories, some great insights. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. Do you own socks? I don't know who's asking that question or why. But Lessons in the Microphone, again, it is also available on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. There is a plethora of great content. Jeremy writes. We get NFL content. We get baseball content. We get a lot of different content. So go check it out. You see the red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Click it, like us, share us, and then turn on your notifications, so you're notified every time we go live. I will say, Jeremy, I don't know if you knew this or have heard, but starting next week, Wednesday, Scott is going to do a new series, and he is going to have a former 1994 U.S. Olympic bobsledder on.
Nice.
And they're going to be talking about CTE, because we hear about it all the time in football. But I would have never thought, and this is my misknowledge, I would say, bobsledders get CTE really bad. And as I think about it now, I'm like, why didn't I think about that earlier? But anyways, so this former Olympian's going to be on Scott's show. They're going to do a series of shows. They're going to talk about CTE. They're going to talk about his Olympic experience. And they're also going to talk about how he's trying to raise money, because hyperbaric chambers and oxygen really help CTE victims. And so he's trying to raise money so that he can help others get treatment. Yeah, the story he tells is going to be real. And there's tragedy in the story as well. So I'm really looking forward to that series. It starts 8 p.m. on Wednesday night here on the South Florida Tribune Network. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise, you can call Scott 954-304-4941. And then if you want to be a guest on one of our shows or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. I don't know who BFOZ is.
Neither do I. Do we own stocks? Yes. I believe we do.
We do. I don't know why we're asking that question. And then we have an Eagles fan here in the chat. So who do the Eagles play this week? I don't even know.
Oh, I can find out for you right quick. Real easy. The Eagles play the LA Rams. They're hosting them. So I think that's a win.
Okay. Interesting. So, Jeremy, if there's no other topics, tell everybody how they can find you.
Well, you can find me right here every Thursday night on Fire Up with our lovely host, Miss Candy. And on any other time, you can find my writings on the southfloridatribune.com under the contributor writings. You can also find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions, on YouTube, on Facebook. Then you can find me on the Huddle Sports Network, which is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and also the Amazon and Roku app. The Huddle Sports Network.
Nice. You want to end us? Take us out?
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love, everybody.
Much love, everybody. Enjoy all the football, and we'll be back here next week. Same time, same channel. Have a good week, everybody.